Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal. There was a meeting that took place somewhere, and they were talking about what they were going to do tonight on SmackDown, and somebody said, Jinder Mahal. And we're going to talk about it. Right here and right now. On the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Jinder Mahal.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
And what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and as you could tell from that opening, I am not pleased this evening. I am your host, as always, Nick Nightmare. This is Blue the Snowball Microphone. Welcome back to the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, right here on Sledgehammer TV, only available on YouTube.com. And I want to thank you guys once again, as always, for joining me. And man, we have a lot to say. We did not go live with a Raw review. I'm going to probably start doing them this way and just combining the two. I'm running out of time, and I'm trying to make a definitive schedule for you guys to follow so we could be here in a more consistent basis and have my stuff more readily available to you guys to give you more of an incentive for being a subscriber. And while we're talking about that, do not forget, please, if you are enjoying the show and you like what you see, hit that thumbs up, give us that approval of a like, and don't forget, the most important way you can support this show and this channel is to subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. Let's get on with the show tonight. We're going to start off talking about the debacle of SmackDown. Can somebody tell me if it's possible that maybe the writers were part of this superstar shakeup? Because since this fucking shakeup has taken place, I just want to kill myself with wrestling. And most especially after tonight. Tonight on SmackDown was absolutely terrible. And we have not said that on this show in quite some time. The fact that Raw put on the better show this week than SmackDown is absolutely mind-blowing to me. But Raw can put all of that on the shoulders of one man. Because if you can call it anything, I wouldn't call it Monday Night Raw. I would have called it Monday Night BRaun. Because Braun was war last night on SmackDown. Apples and oranges, man. Apples and oranges, baby. Raw last night was a good show. It was not a bad show. It just felt so damn long. As entertaining as it was, and as much fun as I was having watching Braun just tear ass through the whole roster, it just felt like it was going on and on and on. The women's match was fantastic on Raw tonight. When we started off with the newest member of the SmackDown Live women's roster, Charlotte Flair, coming out. Why is it taking so long for you to give me a title shot? Fucking terrible. Same old thing. And I was very hopeful that Shane O'Mac or Daniel Bryan was going to come out and be like, "Hi, Charlotte, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you here. We're all very excited for the possibilities of you being on SmackDown Live." But that's not how things work around here. Back of the line, Queen, because you're new around here. And there's been a bunch of girls that are already trying to get that championship, so you have to go through them. That's the proper way to have gone about this. She should be fighting Carmella, get right through her, through the list. Then she's got to go through Tamina. Then she's got to go through Natty. Then she's got to go through Becky. Then she can get a shot at Naomi. What is this? I'm here. Let's get this started. And not even now that she's inserted herself into the world title picture, she's going to have a match tonight against the champion. My least favorite way to determine a number one contender is by just beating the champion. You're not supposed to just have your champions being beaten on TV. It just makes no sense. This repetitiveness of the mistakes, same mistakes over and over and over. And now she's getting her title match next week, as Charlotte would go on to beat Naomi clean. None of the girls that were pissed off came out and interfered in any way. There was no shenanigans on Charlotte's part. She didn't pull off a heel victory. She beat Naomi clean in the ring. Natural selection, 1, 2, 3, and gets a title shot next week on SmackDown. Are we really doing what we did on Raw? Is Charlotte going to win the title on SmackDown Live next Tuesday? It certainly is looking that way. And even if this was the way they were going to go about it, instead of having her get the number one contendership tonight, building towards the Backlash pay-per-view, which is a few weeks down the line, which you should be building up for that, and then giving this feud time to gain momentum and organically gel from underneath and let the fans get behind Naomi in a decent title run where she's going to at least have it for the next 4 to 5 weeks leading into a match with Charlotte, possibly have this go on even further than that if you would have done it correctly, but you already messed everything up. Charlotte has been on the show for maybe an hour between her debut last week and starting the show this week. Not even. Maybe her total time on SmackDown Live since the brand split has been, 20 minutes? And she's now the number one contender. Why? Is it absolutely necessary to continue the Charlotte agenda on SmackDown? I thought it was exclusive to Raw. Like that Roman Reigns treatment. Like she's going to be the greatest thing ever. But you need to allow it time to get there. Another epic failure on the part of the WWE as a whole, and you're going to continue the jam down your throat stage with Charlotte. And how many times is she going to win the SmackDown title in the next 3 months? They got to back and forth it between her and Naomi, get her closer to that 15 times or whatever they want to do to tie Ric Flair and make her really the female Ric Flair. I'm over it. Charlotte had so much potential. I was very glad she was coming to SmackDown because I thought the change of scenery and the change of opponents would have been fantastic for her. But it seems as if they're just going into autopilot and they're going to continue to do the Charlotte thing the way they've been doing it, and that's just a goddamn failure. And while we're talking about failures, because we're not really going to review the whole show because SmackDown there's no reason to really review any show. Raw was all about Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss. That was it. We had a pretty decent match between the Club and Enzo and Cass, which I'm pretty sure was supposed to be a spot for the Revival. But unfortunately, Dash Wilder is injured, which we talked about in the video we did yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, don't forget to hit the little exclamation point. Check that out when we're done over here. Go check out everything I have on the channel if you have not seen them already. Lots of great wrestling stuff. And, where the hell was I? Oh, right. The Club going up against Enzo and Cass. Very good tag team match. You know, the Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho. Fantastic match. Chris Jericho tapping out to the Destroyer, making Samoa Joe look as legit as he actually is. And it was a really good night. Braun Strowman versus The Big Show at the end of the night, destroying the ring, like we all anticipated the first time these two locked horns months ago. We thought the ring was going down, and tonight it actually did. And aside from that, we had, like I said, the rise of Braun Strowman has continued, man. He threw Kalisto in the garbage pail. I wish he would have thrown tonight's script for SmackDown in the garbage pail with just as much force and anger as he did with Kalisto. Because that was awesome. We also had a very good match, before I forget, between Jeff Hardy and Cesaro leading into their tag team championship match at Payback. Some very good stuff, man. Great stuff on Raw. SmackDown, on the other hand, as we said, was utter garbage. Jinder Mahal being placed as the number one contender to the World Heavyweight title. And in a match on pay-per-view, I don't even know if they're calling them that anymore, but on the pay-per-view upcoming for SmackDown, Jinder Mahal is in the main event. A guy who, like Charlotte, has been on SmackDown Live since the brand split for about 10 minutes, who has absolutely zero reason to be placed in that spot. What could possibly have been the thought process here? Somebody needs to explain it to me. One jerk-off's going to be like, oh, well, you're always complaining they don't try anybody new. Yeah, but we didn't mean new people that suck or new people that we don't care about. Let's place this into perspective. You had this match, which included Luke Harper, Eric Rowan. Those two right there are already better choices, especially Luke Harper. Dolph Ziggler, who I know has been on a downward slide lately, but Dolph Ziggler definitely would be much more worthy of a main event spot for one more chance at the title against Randy Orton. The obvious choice, Sami Zayn, who everybody almost thought hands down was going to win. I certainly thought he was going to be the one to win. Personally, I was pulling for Luke Harper more than anybody because that would allow that match to actually continue in the footsteps of where Randy Orton has been with Bray Wyatt, and we're going to continue this on. And then there's Mojo Rawley, who nobody even wants to see on the show at all. So, of those 6 competitors, you got 3 guys that legit should win this match. Dolph Ziggler, Luke Harper, Sami Zayn. Those were your 3 favorites going into this match. And of the 3 underdogs, Jinder Mahal was more like a piece of underdog shit. Like, there was no reason for him to be there. And no, ass clowns, it's not a racial thing. It's not about his accent. It's not about where he's from. This is pro wrestling. We don't give a shit about that. What we give a shit about is, do you deserve it? Have you put the work in? Not have you put a needle in your arm. Have you put the work in on the mat? Have you delivered good matches? Do you have charisma? Is your character worthy of our time? These are the things as wrestling fans we care about. We don't give a shit about your skin color. We don't give a shit about your accent. We don't give a shit what part of the world you come from. If you could throw down in the ring, you're the man. If you take wrestling seriously and you give back as much as you take from pro wrestling, that's what the industry is all about. And a lot of these guys, who am I to say that maybe Jinder Mahal doesn't do these things behind the scenes or helps the younger talent? What the fuck do I know? I'm just some schmuck on YouTube, right? But I've been watching wrestling for 30 years. More, 35 years. And I've seen my share of talent. I like to think I have a very good eye for talent. And I know that to be true because everybody who I think is talented and who I think should be pushed is the ones that they are all holding down. And it's the same ones that everybody wants. Everybody with a brain, anyway. Anybody that can rub 2 friggin' nickels together between their fingertips can tell you that Sami Zayn should be fighting Randy Orton at the next pay-per-view. All kidding aside, Randy Orton should be fighting AJ Styles. Why is AJ Styles fighting Kevin Owens for the United States Championship so that Jinder, the Juice Man, can take on Randy Orton in an undeserved, uninteresting main event at an upcoming pay-per-view? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious with this? Are they really, really serious with this? And then we're going to get all the same old bullshit Roman Reigns excuses. Oh, well, he's generating a reaction. He made you guys boo. He said some things and the crowd booed at the right time. No, we booed because you, WWE, we're booing you. We're not booing the talents. We're booing you, the writers, the creators, the people that are trying to come up with this shit. You are making all the wrong moves. 6 potential people in that match, and you picked the one guy that nobody wants to win. You got him in there against everybody's favorites. Sami Zayn, Luke Harper's got a great pop tonight. He's been on the rise ever since he split from Bray Wyatt. He's been there once before too when they did that first split, and then they got back into the Wyatt family once again, and then they brought Randy in and they had this whole different dynamic, and Luke Harper really stood out, man. He really stepped it up and proved that he could hang with the likes of a Randy Orton and the Bray Wyatt. And then they took him out of the main event of WrestleMania. They took him out of the title match. Completely out and just forgotten about. Like he was never even part of the whole thing to begin with. And I thought this was going to be a great stepping stone for him to get placed back in that spotlight, going up against Randy Orton. They have history. There is story there to tell. And then when you look at everything, and I'm sitting here talking to you guys and the wheels go, and you speak and you say all these things, and something comes to you and you understand. The reason why they did this is because he's the only person of the 6, Jinder Mahal, that Randy Orton will be cheered for if he fights. That's it, everybody. As angry as I was when we started this thing, I just figured it out as I'm spewing this, guys. I'm spewing this to you guys, and it just... Bing! There it is. Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. Randy's getting booed. Randy versus Luke Harper. Randy's getting booed. Randy versus Dolph Ziggler. Randy's getting booed. I'm sorry to all you Randy Orton fans, which I am one of. I got my Randy hat. I got my Randy Orton blanket outside. His snake blanket keeps me warm. I'm a big fan of the guy. But we've come to that point where it's time for that generation to just step back. You don't have to go away. Just step back. Stop winning titles. Start making guys. Start making superstars. This was your opportunity to elevate Bray Wyatt, and you failed at doing that. Now, they have the opportunity to do this again, but they want to keep Randy as the babyface, and that's not going to come across on TV against any opponent in that 6-way dance other than Jinder Mahal. It's not going to work, and I don't expect it to be a good pay-per-view. That being the World Heavyweight title match, I don't think you're going to get anybody even watching it. My interest has certainly gone down. You're going to have to do something extremely interesting with AJ Styles, because the rest of SmackDown is just absolutely atrocious. The women's division took a big hit tonight with the way they booked Charlotte Flair. Tremendous hit in a negative direction. I already laid it out for you earlier. The tag team division, the same thing. You have Primo and Epico just come up and go over clean on American Alpha. They beat the best team on SmackDown. No build to it, no rise to it, just out of nowhere, like Randy Orton. Bang! We win. Seriously? Everything is a mess on SmackDown. Raw came across much more structured. Raw seems to know where it's going. But Raw did have a slight handicap this week because Roman Reigns, as my Smurf Village game goes off in my tablet, Roman Reigns was not on Raw last night. So there's a slight curve to Raw. And I'm feeling like that's part of the reason why so many of us enjoyed Raw so much. It's not so much of what we got as what we didn't have to see or hear at any time. The music and the Roman come out and start his Superman thing, which he shouldn't have. Because if he would have showed up on Raw last night, I would have been really, really pissed off. Because you don't take a beating like that and show up the next week ready to spear Braun Strowman. He's already been shown on the internet. If you search YouTube, you will see there was a house show earlier this week where Roman Reigns was there wrestling and he attacked Braun Strowman and he was selling his broken ribs. Even before Raw, only 4 or 5 days after being flipped over in an ambulance and thrown across the room in a gurney and whatever the hell else he did to him. That would have been absolutely tragic to see him on Raw last night, but they didn't do that. And we did get a very good night on the Red Show. Very, very lackluster, poor night. Poor night for SmackDown Live. And as good as the 6-man match was, as soon as Jinder Mahal won that thing, it completely tanked. And not just in my mind, but in everybody's mind. If you took a look on Twitter at that moment, there was nothing else being said. Except, like, genuine shock and disgust. Lots of people doing what they always do, threaten not to watch anymore. But you're a wrestling fan, you have to watch, you're going to watch. I'm not saying you have to watch that particular match, but you're going to keep watching the show, just like I am. As much as I don't like what's happening, I truly, truly believe that they switched up some of the writers as well. That's the only explanation for what the hell went down tonight. What the hell was that? What the hell kind of show was that? Absolutely terrible. Up until Kevin Owens came out. And we had the Face of America Open Challenge for the United States Championship. And I was excited for this all night. And then I realized what they were going to do, which is exactly what they did. And they had some friggin' Gary Grubface, or whatever the fuck his name was, from Louisville, Kentucky. Who gives a damn? Against Kevin Owens? This is what you're giving Kevin Owens to warm up for AJ Styles. Gary Grubsky from Louisiana. Fuck. What am I watching? This is Raw. This was Raw, dressed in blue. Like, what am I watching here? No. Absolutely not. So anyway, that gets done with quickly. And then Kevin Owens joins the announce team, which they're doing every week now, so it just doesn't even feel special. I mean, just on Monday, Seth Rollins was in the booth for Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho. And the whole reason for that was that Seth Rollins can say the word bitch on camera. Big deal. You know, it's fine. It was what it was. It's Seth Rollins. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying. And then the very next night we have Kevin Owens joining the commentary. I'm pretty sure last week we had Natalya on commentary. Sometimes they do it twice in a show. It's like, then you're breaking up the chemistry of the commentary team. Not that it's that good. And speaking of which, Booker T, welcome back, bro. Welcome back to the Raw commentary team. I was very, very pleased at the sound of Booker T in my ears. It was absolutely fantastic to hear the five time sucker be back on the mic once again, helping out those guys on. He sounded great with Corey Graves and Michael Cole. He did not bother me in the least. I felt comforting. It felt like putting on an old pair of shoes, like, because Booker's done that before. He's been there before. So your ears are used and your brain are all used to him being there. So, no problem. No problem with the Bookman being on commentary. And I hope that they leave him there and they don't bring back David Ortega Taco, because I don't want to see his fucking little mustache lawyer face ever again. I just don't. His 12-year-old boy voice does nothing. Keep Booker T there, suckers, because that's much better. It really felt like watching Raw. I don't know why. It just, the whole show as a whole, way, way better. Raw, the superior show. Way, way better than this. At least for this week. Time can tell, and the tide may swing back the other way. This may be just an attempt by Vince to put Raw back at the top, or back at the tip of everybody's tongue, because SmackDown was tearing it up, baby. SmackDown was killing it. And now SmackDown's killing me. What I saw tonight was not good, if I haven't been clear about it by now. With the exception, as always, of the phenomenal one, AJ Styles and Baron Corbin putting on a fantastic match for the main event tonight. Very, very good. I didn't know. I couldn't call what was going to happen. I didn't think anybody was going to win. I thought it was just going to be thrown out, especially with KO being ringside for the whole thing. And that is not what happened. In the end, we had them rumbling AJ and Baron on the outside. Got very, very close to the 10 count, and the closer they got, the more they would fight. And then AJ would hit Baron Corbin with the phenomenal forearm off the steel steps, sending him over the barricade with like 2 seconds to go. And then AJ, just in time, beats the ref's 10 count, which kind of was weird. If you were watching, it's like the ref never counted 10. He just, AJ got in the ring and he was like ringing the bell. You know, it was a little weird, but you know, I noticed these little things. not that they matter at all. But AJ Styles ends up getting the win via countout over Baron Corbin, setting him up to go one-on-one with Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. What is going on in the WWE when the United States Championship is the most interesting belt in the show? Nobody gives a shit about Dean Ambrose with the Intercontinental title, even though it looks like it's going back to The Miz. Nobody gives a shit about Brock Lesnar walking around with the Red Rope Licorice Belt Championship of the world. Nobody gives a shit about Randy Orton being the World Heavyweight Champion. Nobody gives a shit about Bayley and what's going on over there. People do give a shit about Naomi, but they're obviously going to fucking ruin that and take that away. And all anybody cares about is the fact that we are going to have the chance to see AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. And it's going to be for the United States Championship, which makes that the greatest championship in the WWE right now. What are they doing? What are they doing, you guys? Let me know what you're thinking. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if I'm crazy. Let me know if you guys are as crazy as I am and you agree with me about what we're saying here tonight. And that's pretty much all we're going to say. Because if I get more into it, I'm going to get more mad. And I don't want to get more mad because it's getting late. And, you know, tomorrow's another day. And next week, I'm going to have to look forward to Raw? Really? I don't know. That's kind of weird. I don't know. Guys, let me know if I'm crazy. You guys going to be looking more forward to Raw? You're looking more forward to SmackDown? I know what it would have been a few weeks ago. But now, that title is definitely up for grabs. And that's it. It was a very red week. Hence the red t-shirt. And yes, freaks, this is the Flash logo. This is not Shazam. For any of you that get it confused. I get that shit all the time. This is the Flash in the white circle. Shazam, just a yellow lightning bolt. Get it straight. And don't come at me with it any other way. Because this is the Flash. And that's the phenomenal one. And this is Blue the Snowball Microphone. And I am Nick Nightmare. And I am out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.